By the 4th century, the Roman Empire dominated the Mediterranean basin. During late antiquity, the state shifted from a political hegemonon into an ideological enforcer. Following the Council of Nicaea, Roman policy changed. The state began waging a theological war aimed at eradicating Jewish jurisprudence. Under Constantine, the state apparatus was repurposed to humiliate and marginalize the Jewish legal tradition. Minor Jewish courts still operated in the Galilee, struggling to maintain objective law under immense pressure. The Galilean sages operated as rigorous constitutional scholars, conducting intense, rational debates on the mechanics of civil and religious law. This ideological weaponization made Jewish life untenable. The Roman West became constitutionally lethal, forcing Judaism's judicial center to collapse. The Supreme Court in the Land of Israel eventually disbanded. A transparent legal system cannot function under systemic state terror. The Roman world was physically and culturally fracturing as persecution intensified. Legal scholars began a strategic exodus, fleeing the collapsing Western judicial network. They moved toward the Parthian and later Sassanid Persian Empire. Persia offered a stable haven. Unconcerned with religious ideological eradication, the empire allowed minorities to maintain their own autonomous legal structures. The Persian haven provided an unprecedented level of stability for this developing legal architecture. Political authorities centralized in the Rosh Galut, the head of the diaspora. Judicial supremacy resided in the colossal yeshivot, the Babylonian academies. These academies functioned as bustling parliaments of intellect, analyzing the implications of civil and criminal cases. A bedrock axiom guided their work. Objective legislative authority requires absolute global national consensus. Twice a year, thousands of scholars converged for massive legislative assemblies designed to achieve this consensus. The Kallah functioned as a globally representative legislative body, drawing legal perspectives from every corner of the diaspora into a single Babylonian hub. The assemblies required many long months of grueling, peer-reviewed study and relentless rational debate in order to distill the final law. Babylon existed as a thriving legislative capital, achieving a level of constitutional consensus unique in antiquity. The geopolitical landscape shifted with the ignition of direct clashes between the Roman and Persian empires. Two superpower states were now locked in a catastrophic struggle for dominance. Fortified borders and total war militarized the ancient world. These newly fortified front lines physically severed the Mediterranean trade routes from the Mesopotamian basin. Scholars and global representatives could no longer physically travel to attend the Kallah assemblies. By closing the borders, the empires structurally dismantled the court's constitutional authority by preventing the verification of global consensus. Centuries later, observing the collapse of the yeshiva system, the medieval philosopher Maimonides recognized a critical pivot point in legal history. He noted a structural failure in the exile, writing, "Tens of thousands did not gather as they did previously." Without the physical capacity to assemble the majority of the nation's scholars in one place, the jurisdiction required to enact universally binding decrees ceased to exist. The subsequent spread of the diaspora into Europe and North Africa fractured lines of communication, ensuring the original engine of assembly could not be restarted. Rav Ashi, president of the yeshiva, realized that global consensus was permanently slipping away. He began a 60-year project to systematically record the proceedings, logic, and final rulings of the Kallah. The project was a race against time to capture the last true global consensus before the ancient world fractured. The Talmud functions as the physical record of this synchronization, the byproduct of a massive and deliberate effort to reach a national legal agreement. Ravina and the final generation of the Amorim formally sealed the Talmud, marking an absolute end to universal instruction. Post-Talmudic courts were restricted to local jurisdiction, permanently losing the authority of global legislative supremacy. The Talmud became the terminal document. Because global consensus could never be verified again, nothing could be added to its rulings and nothing subtracted. Sealing the text locked the objective law exactly as it had been formally accepted by the United Nations, preventing future dilution. The Roman Empire collapsed, the Persian Empire fell, but this constitutional baseline survived both. The Babylonian Talmud remains the definitive legal authority, because it was the final document forged by a unified nation, utilizing human rational agency to agree upon the law.